right, it's showtime in the University City. This is Three Guys Before the Game, episode number, what number is this? Like 605,207?
This is Roman numeral number, I'm not sure.
Actually, 628. You can do the Roman numeral, and we'll figure that out later on. The title of the show, Ross, Hodge, Hello. Probably should do that louder than that, right? Title of the show is Ross, Hodge, Hello! He's in.
Very good.
Mountaineers' new basketball coach, 24th coach in school history. We'll talk about that in detail. Coming up on the program, we'll break it all down. Textual Healing is coming up. Special thank you from the Day of Giving, which was Wednesday of this week. Connection 304 hit big. I'd like to thank everyone for doing that. All right, jump in. Three Guys Before the Game, brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart Rewards card and immediately begin racking up points, which means you'll save money on food and fuel. Download the app or go to gomart.com for details. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way, the Three Guys way with the Tudor's Biscuit. Spreads on Stats will break into Ross, Hodge, and his numbers. Provided by Conley CPA Group. Providing value beyond numbers. All right, so the search is complete for WVU. Just kind of what we thought. It wasn't extremely long by any stretch. WVU has named Ross Hodge as the school's new head basketball coach, effective pending a loss. So he's got to have his season come to an end at North Texas before you have the pomp and circumstance of a press conference, which will take place at some point next week. But as far as that goes, it's kind of weird. You see this in football. You don't oftentimes see it in basketball. In football, a coach will coach through the bowl game. Normally in basketball, it doesn't happen that way. But North Texas is in the NIT semis, which take place next Tuesday. If they were to win, they would play again next Thursday in the championship game. So the press conference could take place next week. It could be Wednesday. It could be Thursday. It could be Friday. So something in that range. All right, we'll focus on who this guy is. Let's first off start by his name. Pretty simple name.
Okay.
Pretty simple name, right. But I gacked a tweet earlier.
What?
I was in my truck.
You were texting while driving?
Don't be distracted texting. Just focus on what you're doing.
Yeah. I was in the parking lot. I was getting ready to go into football practice.
Let me guess. You used a wrong vowel on accident.
Well, I wasn't paying attention. I put in Russ instead of Ross.
That's what I'm saying.
I was
vowel, right?
Wrong
you got the
vowel.
wrong vowel on accident. Just hit the wrong button.
I did.
Yeah.
I went
You
Ross.
know the guy's name.
Yeah, I know his name's Ross Hodge. So 4 letters for the first name, Ross. Last name, Hodge. Mm-hmm. Not Hodges. No S's. Just Ross Hodge. Just pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
4 on the first, 4 letters on the first, 5 on the second, and that's who he is. Dallas, Texas native, 44 years of age, has coached junior college ranks, has coached at the mid-major ranks with stops including Southern Miss, Colorado State, also Arkansas State, and then most recently at the University of North Texas. Yes, there is a relationship pre-existing with WV's athletic director, Ren Baker. Hodge was an assistant at UNT. When Ren was the AD, Hodge was an assistant to Grant McCaslin, who is now the head coach, of course, at Texas Tech. So that is the base, and we'll start from there, and we will jump on in, and we begin, I would think, with Hoppy and some obvious observations.
This is not, on first inspection, excuse me, it is not a wow hire. Because you follow basketball and you're a Mountaineer fan, but how much do you really follow the AAC and how much do you follow North Texas? So you might not be very familiar with him. I was thinking about, let's say you're looking for a house and you're just driving through an area, and you see a house and you go, oh, okay, I'm not sure what the curb appeal is. But then you look in the house and you take a closer look and say, oh, there's a lot of good qualities here. And that's what you get once you just begin to open the door to Ross Hodge. 7 years as a head coach at different levels. He's won at each level where he's been a head coach. He's won 92 and 47. I know that Spreads will have more on his stats. 2 years at UNT was 19 and 15, lost players every year, then was 27 and 8 this year in semifinals of NIT. So he's won. He is defensive-minded, and that is important for a lot of different levels. As you guys say, defense travels. You got to play defense in this league. North Texas, one of the top defensive teams in the country for the last 5 years, been very good. And this coach has been responsible for that, not only when he was a head coach, but when he was an assistant under McCaslin. So, in fact, UNT, I don't want to get into Brad's zone, I think was average.
I think you are getting in his zone.
Okay, I'll stop then. Okay, I'll stop then.
No, go ahead.
No, I'll
not really. It's obvious. Go ahead.
He'll have defensive stats, but the defensive stats are there, and Brad will back that up. And McCaslin, who Ren hired, right, at UNT, and then went on to Texas Tech, and McCaslin described him as co-head coach, even though he was associate coach, described him as co-head coach. And if you saw that video, McCaslin gave a ringing endorsement of Hodge. And the third factor that I think weighed heavily for WVU is that he's a character guy. So he checks a lot of, he might not check the box of we know exactly who he is, but once you start to peel back the layers, he checks a lot of boxes. Now, I know that there was a push within West Virginia and some alumni, some influential people, for Jared Calhoun at Utah State. But and Calhoun was on the list of who this West Virginia was looking at. But I think, Brad, that Hodge was up pretty high all along. And once it was evident that McCallum was going to go to Iowa, I think that started things moving in a certain direction. And with McCallum, I want to go back to McCallum for a minute, guys, is that Iowa had to get McCallum. They had to get him. And West Virginia could not afford to get into a bidding war with McCallum and give McCallum a pay raise before he even takes his job. So that sort of took care of itself. And then I think from there, it was Hodge, it was Calhoun, it was maybe Patino. And the other guys kind of saw the handwriting on the wall, and so they sort of did their own thing, and then West Virginia solidified with Hodge. And you may as well release it because it became a poorly kept secret. So it wasn't going to hold anyway. For 5 days, we would have been talking about Hodge. So I think that, as I said, when you go in the door and start looking around the rooms, you see a lot of significant qualities for this guy that fit a narrative in West Virginia. And, back to Calhoun, and no offense to Calhoun, but in West Virginia, sometimes we get obsessed by who's from here, who has connections here, and those things can be important. But the real test is not who is from here or who has connections here, but who really wants to be here. Who wants to be here and sees the potential here? I like a Don Nealon, more so than what those connections are. Those are my obvious observations.
Thank you, Hoppy.
Thank you, Hoppy.
You're welcome.
A couple things. I've said this throughout the year, and Hop, I get what you're saying there is you may not have known Ross Hodge, and then you dive in there and you peel back the layers and you see a lot of things you like. You know who didn't need to peel back the layers?
Ren Baker.
So here's what I've said throughout the year. I knew before Darren DeVries got here that he was a really good coach, right? You could look at his resume. You could dive into it. If you know people that knew him, you talk to basketball people, there was nobody that said, I'm not sure this guy can coach. But after being around him nearly daily for 9 months, you know what I came to learn about Darren?
Good coach.
An elite coach. That's why I said on here many times, if you had a job opening, I don't care where you were in the country, and didn't call him, you probably need a new AD. Was an elite coach because I saw it up close every day. You know who Ren Baker has seen up close a lot?
Yes.
Ross Hodge. And it does take you to a different level, and I think that's really important and valuable from a couple standpoints. One, going into a search, I think there's a perception out there among some that you were down into your fifth and sixth choice. Oh, that's not the case here. You talk to multiple people as an AD for a lot of reasons. One of them is you never know when you're going to do the next search. And if you're Ren Baker, you probably assume you're doing a search every week at this point. So you better know who you're talking to. Also for down the road. The more people you can talk to before you have to hire them, the better you are. This is a hard thing to do, to identify coaches and get it right. There's a ton of guesswork involved, and you can get around it, but you're speed dating on this stuff, and you're trying to get a match with somebody that's really good, and you're paying them millions of dollars. And there's a lot of variables and a lot of boxes you're trying to check, but you rarely get all of your boxes checked. So if you can check a bunch of those boxes because you know firsthand how somebody operates and how good they are, that is invaluable. And I think you saw that in this search. So I think that's really an important thing to know about this, is that Ren has firsthand experience. Then you start to move around and talk to basketball people. And I've had, if I'm not in the double digits in conversations, I'm close with basketball people about Ross Hodge since starting back this weekend. I haven't found one yet that says, I don't know. I'm finding a bunch of people saying, dude's a really good coach, knows what he's doing, ran the defense for Mac McCausland, as he has said. You've talked about the defensive numbers. We'll get into that. We talked in the last podcast, the importance in this league of starting your program, which you're basically starting your program again, with defense, gives you the best chance to win. Then you grow it from there. Every one of these people has raved about his basketball ability. And I think that's important. When you're talking to multiple people at different levels and they're all raving about that, that's a good starting point. Is it a guarantee you win a national championship? Absolutely not. Is it guaranteed you can win a Big 12 championship? Absolutely not. Did you check a bunch of boxes on your list? I think you did in this search.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ren always begins, first and foremost, that you have to have one as a head coach.
Right.
And you go back to look at his JC days where he was over 80%, and you take a look at what he's done at UNT in his first 2 years, 19 and now 27, and still with at least one game left to go. That fills his thing. And I also think some of this was the way that Darren DeVries departed. Those two did not have an existing relationship before he hired him.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think to take what your 2 points are, there needs to be a level of comfort of knowing what it is that you get. And oftentimes when you make a coaching hire, that doesn't exist.
Really, more times than not, you don't totally know it.
It doesn't. And so I think if you go back and you look at the Mark Kellogg hire, if you take a look at this hire, that he knows day one, he has a better idea of what he's getting than he did in the past with the hiring of Darren DeVries. You learn things when someone is totally fresh and new as time goes on. You know things when you hire someone that you already know. So he fits that bill of having one at a really high level, and all indications are that he will continue to win. Now, to your point, in regard to sexy hire and winning the press conference, probably doesn't happen. You probably aren't going to walk out of there slapping your knee and saying, hey, that was a great one-liner or that was a great zinger or something like that. But we all know that over a period of time, that really doesn't matter. The only thing that really truly matters is this is a zero-sum game. And the only thing that matters is victories. Mm-hmm. And while there may be some folks right now who are scratching their head as to, okay, why is it this guy or why wasn't it this guy? That probably doesn't go away for a period of time. It will start to turn when they start to win, which looks like that will happen. And I also think this, and this is nothing against him being Ross Hodge, because he had nothing to do with the departure of Darren DeVries. But the way that ended, it's going to take even longer than it normally would because people are hurt. People are upset. People are bummed out. So again, nothing to do with him, but it's going to take a longer period of time. I think ultimately he wins, but I've said this before, when you hire a coach, unless it's Saban in football or like one of very few guys in basketball, you're flipping a coin. You hope, but you're not sure, but at least he has a background that he has won, and he has won consistently. And this new world that we're in basketball of reshuffling your roster every year is no big deal for him because that's how junior colleges work. They change their roster every single year. So this is not a stress point where for some guys that have been in this business a long time, it might stress them out. I think these JC guys, they just kind of flip their shoulders and go like, okay, not a problem. I go get guys.
And he's already had to do it at North Texas. Did it at North Texas.
Yeah. He has 7 transfers on this year's team and 3 freshmen.
Yeah.
So basically it's a rebuild. And that's kind of what I think this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So
coaching searches are so much about, guys, they're so much about eliminating questions and unknowns. Mm-hmm. You know, it's almost a work backward in the process type of list because very rarely are you in a situation, and just go back a couple of hires ago, what would people have said about John Beilein if he had more access to what everybody thought when you hired John Beilein? People didn't know who John Beilein was. Worked out okay, right? A guy that had won at a lot of places, a smaller school that translated up. You rarely go from John Beilein, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame, into a known entity in Bob Huggins, who ended up in the Hall of Fame, right? That was a rare, unique situation that you had a highly successful guy that wanted to come back to his alma mater, and you knew what you were getting. There weren't a lot of questions with Huggs. That was okay, Beilein left, go get Bob Huggins, we're done, we move forward. There wasn't all of this questions and these. That doesn't happen. And that doesn't happen in these situations very often. So you've got to just try and eliminate all the questions you have. And that's what you do when you go into one of these searches. And I think you've done that. Eliminate every question you have? No, absolutely not. Have you eliminated a bunch? I think you have. To the best of your ability, when you hire somebody, I think you have. And we'll get into some of those.
And he checks the 3 big, along with Ren knowing who he is, which is vitally important. Not that he's hiring his boy, but that he knows him. He knows him, which is quite important. The 3 most important things were, has he coached and won at multiple levels? Yes. Does he coach good defense? Yes. Is he a character guy? Yes. 3 biggest things that mattered in this search that fit Hodge.
Yeah. 3 guys before the game, excuse me, I need some water, has been brought. It is being brought to us by Comax Business Systems. You're looking for a refreshing upgrade for your office? Well, this is it. Comax Business Systems. West Virginia has the solution. New water cooler systems. They just don't provide wet water. They provide crisp, clean water at the push of a button, promoting hydration within your workplace, wellness within the workplace. Say goodbye to lifting all those heavy plastic bottles. Don't do it. Perfect for any size business. Coolers are eco-friendly, easy to maintain. You can discover more by visiting ComaxWV.com, ComaxWV.com, or you can give them a call at 304-744-7440. So hypothetical here would be, let's just say you bring a bunch of Tudor's biscuits into the break room. Then you need to wash them down. Well, you can do that, right? You got water right there, clean, crisp water. Tudor's biscuits right now got an ongoing special promotion. You buy one at regular cost, and you get one of 3 others for just $1. You heard it right. So you could buy the Dottie, the sausage biscuit, the Peppy, or the hash brown. You pay one regular, and then the others, one of those other 3 remaining, you can get for $1.
Excuse me?
I wonder if you could double up on that. Like, can you get the Dottie at regular price and then get the Dottie again for $1?
Well, I would think.
It wouldn't. They don't care,
I mean,
right?
it's any combination there. You can mix and match.
Yeah. So I'm sure Ross Hodge, first day on the job, will get a Tudor's biscuit.
Sure. Somebody bring him. I shouldn't say that.
No question.
I would think.
Yeah.
We just got, so check it out. Ongoing at Tudor's Biscuits. Pay one, get the other for $1.
By the way, this time I got beat by Matt Norlander, so now I got two people I'm fighting.
That happens.
Did you really get beat?
Yeah, by about 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
No. Go back. Did you really get beat? Did you have it but didn't go with it?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
It comes down. It comes down. Hoppy, it just comes.
I had to get. I didn't. I had
Hoppy,
it. But
it just comes down to pushing the button. You didn't push the button. That's all.
I needed a confirmation that did not come until after Norlander had it.
How'd it feel when you got beat again?
No, it's just like,
just another day for you.
Another day getting pistol whipped.
Well, at least you're getting used to it now. I mean,
at least it wasn't in the beginning. It wasn't Pete.
No, he had it too.
When did he have it?
Well, he didn't beat you, but he and Norlander, Now that he's ESPN, he has to tag in Borzello. They had to tag team on the thing, but you're getting closer. And one of these.
Well, I'm getting a lot of practice because there's a lot of coaching searches.
Hoppy, here's the deal, dude. You got the new president of the university. You beat everyone on that. So just enjoy your pound of flesh, right? Just enjoy your pound of flesh. All right, let's dive deep into the numbers on Ross Hodge, shall we?
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Ready? Yeah, 5.
All right, here comes a deep dive. What's West Virginia going to get here when it comes to the stats of its new coach? Brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. They will outsource your accounting in your business. You work with them, and they'll take care of all of your accounting stuff. And for some business owners, and I hear you, man, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sign up for this. I don't want anything to do with it. If you'd like to outsource your accounting or even your CFO services, give a call to Conley CPA Group, a proud West Virginia company celebrating its 40th anniversary. Local firm, experienced local pros. Conley CPA Group, they do provide value beyond numbers. All right, so you spent a good chunk of time diving into Ross Hodge. Did you have any moments where you went like, that's intriguing?
Sorry, still trying to get some
Had to be on the defensive side.
intel there as we're coming down the stretch.
Oh, okay.
Still working on some things. All right, let's start here. A couple of these numbers you said, and I think the important thing to know is the 80% winning percentage as a head coach through the junior college ranks. That was a really difficult junior college circuit he was in as well. So that's not just, he's out there in a rec league winning some games. Won at a high level there. You mentioned the 70% winning percentage at North Texas. I'm not sure how many times I've said on here throughout the last however long it's been, year or so, I think there's a ton of outstanding coaches in college basketball outside of Power 4. I think there's a lot of outstanding coaches outside of Division I as well. And I think that's important now because the way the game and the basketball world has changed, I'll get into this here in just a minute. And I think when you look at these JUCO guys and even the Division II guys, and you hit on this earlier, Tony, and it was my first point on here because I think it's applicable now. Those guys look at the D1 guys that are losing their mind about the portal and just say, are you freaking kidding me? This is our existence. D2 and JUCO has done this every year throughout their history. That's what they had to do at those levels. So I think now that the world has changed in recruiting, and you don't have to come to West Virginia with recruiting ties in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York to be successful, I think this is more valuable than it's ever been. Guys that know how to walk in, say, okay, I need 13 new guys. Let's go. I'll go get 13 new guys. No big deal. He did this last year at North Texas. Had less than 20% of his returning production back, led him to 27 wins with an entirely new roster. He had 4 guys go on and play at the high major level this year. So I was told by somebody in the business, an elite recruiter. An elite recruiter coming out of the JUCO and the mid-ranger ranks is different than what it used to mean for the Power 4 level, but I think perfect for right now and perfect for West Virginia from this standpoint. West Virginia's got to find guys that fit in the system that you're running and guys that maybe were a little bit undervalued at other places. And you've got to make sure you go get them and plug them in. And I think that's easier, Hoppy. If you're an elite recruiter, that means you can identify what you want to run your stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's super important, one. And now the advent of NIL, you have a budget here that's competitive and you can go out and get your guys. So I think this JUCO route, this Division II, as you're seeing Iowa go with Ben McCollum. I mean, it's not like McCollum has a huge track record at this level. He won 1 year at Drake at a mid-major level, what Darren turned into a good job. And boom, he had multiple Power 4s after him. So I think ADs are recognizing that as well, that there's great coaches all over this country at different levels. So I think that's the hope is that's the case here with Ross Hodge. He goes out this season, has another really good year, and is still playing, which I think is important to see too. A guy that's won at a high level. Let's go through some other guys. The Grant McCasland comparison is one that you're going to hear a lot because he worked for him. What did McCasland do? Came up through the JUCO ranks, won at Arkansas State, won at North Texas, translated that now into a Power 4 level at Texas Tech, competed for a Big 12 title. They're still playing the Sweet 16. It's not too dissimilar from Chris Beard. How many people in the basketball business rave about Chris Beard? Where did he make his bones? JUCO ranks. Then came up Arkansas Little Rock before he got his shot to go. And what is Chris Beard doing? Having a lot of success now at Ole Miss, previously at Texas Tech, previously at Texas. So those are a couple of guys that we've seen in this world. We talked on the last episode, Ren was likely looking for a defensive-minded head coach. And the reason for that is, if you look at the blueprint throughout this league and teams that are having success now, they started defensively. Let me repeat some numbers from the last episode. 9 of the top 37 defensive teams in the country this year played in the Big 12, and I'm going off defensive efficiency. That's what, 1/4 in essence. 25% of the best defensive teams in the country played in this particular league. That was Houston, Texas Tech, and Arizona, all still alive in the Sweet 16. West Virginia and K-State, the only 2 of those 9 that didn't make the NCAA tournament. And as we know, were it not for an all-time screw job, West Virginia would have been in that list as well, and it would have been left with K-State.
Big screw job.
Thank you. So defense can win in this league. Defense wins in this league. So let's start with Ross Hodge and his defense. Hoppy, you gave a couple of numbers right there, but let's get into a few more. Here's North Texas. 3rd nationally this season in points allowed per game at just 59.9. 42nd nationally defensive efficiency out of 300 and what do I always say? 364, 367, give or take. Like 42nd nationally. 26th in opponent effective field goal percentage. 17th in opponent three-point percentage. 38th in steal percentage. 70th percentile nationally in points per chance off live ball turnovers, but top 7% nationally when it came to conference games. And if you listen to this show regularly, the reason I'm putting that stat in there, you know that was something West Virginia did a great job of this year. A group that was limited offensively, so how did it get points? Defensively, live ball turnovers, convert those. Ross's team at North Texas this past year was very good. If you watched the NIT game the other night, you saw that ESPN graphic that pointed out North Texas points per game defense, second nationally over the last, 3 years? Only behind Houston. Hello, good company to be in. I was told by somebody in the basketball business, this guy's a defensive savant. And it's not just
I always
about,
like when you throw in savant.
It's not just about toughness and going over screens. We saw Darren's group was very good at that. The toughness was instilled from day one. I'm told this guy has elite level toughness as well and gets it out of his guys, but that his scheme, the schematics defensively are outstanding. They're confusing, they're difficult to play against, and when you get the right guys in place, it's a beast, as evidenced by their numbers right there. So something to keep in mind as we move forward. Offensively, here's what I think would surprise some folks. Second in the AAC in offensive efficiency. 4th in effective field goal percentage. 3rd in the league in free throw attempt rate. Might have a team that gets to the line, Hoppy.
There we go.
Now, I don't know if the officials will agree with that, and they'll get any calls. Don't know if you get screwed on every call like you did this last year. A team that gets to the free throw line, and then, oh, by the way, makes it when they get there. 1st in free throw percentage. Now, again, that's his group at North Texas. Well, it'll be a whole new team at West Virginia, so we'll see. But I think that's a misnomer out there that the offense isn't any good. What it is a very slow-paced group. At least he's been at North Texas. But let's get into that a little bit. We saw that with West Virginia this past year. You hung your hat on defense. And Hoppy, theoretically, if you have an elite defense and you slow the pace, it should keep you in more games. And then what can happen on nights when you're making shots? You're converting steals. You're getting to the free throw line. You're dropping some threes in. Now, all of a sudden, you're stealing some of those games. And I thought we saw that formula this year. I think what you're going to see next year is similar to this. You're going to win with defense, and you're going to be super tough, and you're going to be efficient on the offensive end, but you're going to have limited opportunities. You're going to slow that pace down and not give these other teams in this league a lot of possessions and get your wins that way. Then, my guess would be, as it was going to be with Darren this year, then you start to add more offensive pieces into that. You know what makes you better offensively?
Guys that can score.
Better offensive players. Those are hard to find, especially right away. It's easier to go find guys that want to guard and can get after it, and it's a culture and it's a mentality. We saw that with Bob Huggins for how many years? Went and found a certain type of player, and you could find those guys, and you put them into your system. And then you add the offensive pieces around that. As an example, let's look at some teams. Texas Tech, Grant McCasland, known for his defense, right? Elite defense. How about their offense this year? 5th nationally in offensive efficiency. If you talk to people that know Grant McCaslin, you know what he says about his offense when you go and say, Grant, your offense, you really changed your offense this year. It's really good. Top 5 nationally. Change your offense there, Hoppy. They're top 5 nationally. You know what Grant McCaslin's direct
JT
quote
Toppin.
is? I have better offensive players. If you watch it, it's the same system. It's the same set of plays. It's more skilled offensive guys running that, which therefore then you turn and run a little bit more. You push the pace. We heard that this past year. Darren was going to push the pace as the roster changed, and it fit. So I think that's what you're going to see. I'll give you 2 other examples. What's Houston's hallmark? What does Houston do?
Defense.
Guard. What did they do over the last year or so? What did they add?
Added offensive players.
Couple great shooters. Add Sharp into the lineup, which makes Cryer even more valuable because it's not just one shooter. You see Houston elevate into the top 10 nationally in offense because they added a couple of really good offensive pieces. They're still a top 15, top 10 defensive group. I'll give you a third in the Big 12. TJ Otzelberger. What did he do when he took over the Iowa State program? What did they become?
Defense.
Heavy defense, got in your face, created offense off defense. What did they transition to this year?
More of an offensive team.
Added a Curtis Jones, a lead offensive player. They added a couple more guys in. Now, had they not been injured and battled that all season, never had the same lineup, I still contend that's a Final Four type of team. That was a really good team. But there's 3 examples of guys that have come in and they hang their hat on defense and they're elite defensively. And they got their teams into contention in this league by being defensive based. And then as you go on, you add your offensive pieces in. I have a feeling that's what you're going to see here.
If you don't guard at an elite level in this league, you've got no chance.
Got no chance. North Texas this past year was an excellent catch and shoot team, guys. One of the best nationally when unguarded. Top 5 nationally in points per shot when unguarded. Interesting. Talked all year about West Virginia's success after timeouts. We like to use that as one of the hallmarks of really good X and O'ing. When you can come out of timeouts, West Virginia was really good this past year. You want to know about North Texas this year in ATOs? Hoppy ATO, after timeout, ATO.
Okay.
North Texas this year, top 4% nationally in points per possession.
Nice.
That's on the offensive end. Talked about West Virginia's ability to get points off blobs. Blob, baseline out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Okay. West Virginia stole a lot of points this year because they were so efficient on those plays. So when you're a team that has less offensive opportunities because you're slowing the pace, you want to take advantage of after timeouts and baseline out of bounds where you can steal some buckets, get some, quote, easy baskets. North Texas this year on blobs, guys.
Okay.
Top 2% nationally in points per possession.
So these things are translating into Hodge running good stuff.
Yeah. Leaning that way.
Lean. Yeah, that's the lean.
Yeah, leaning that way. It becomes quite fascinating, interesting because the season never ends. So we're recording on the 27th of March. This basketball season is not going to end. Like you might think the season's over right now. The season isn't over right now.
No.
You're entering into a different level. It's kind of like the NFL. Like one thing after the other.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the Super Bowl's over, then you get ready for the draft. Then you have the draft. Then you have OTAs. And then you have a camp. And then the season starts. That's the same thing this is going to be. So he's going to get here sometime next week. And then it all starts to happen. Now we're into April. And then you're going to start to see the pieces of his staff come together. Then you're going to start to see the first players come together. And then April is going to be over. And now it's May. And now the semester is over at WVU. And guess what happens? Now it's summer school. And the new players will enroll. And then they're going to be on the floor, right? And here comes June. Well, what are they doing? Well, they get to how many hours on the floor? So that'll be June. That'll be July. And then it doesn't stop. And so it's pretty amazing the way the game has changed because it literally does not end.
Truly year round. And, last year they moved up the start of the season with that exhibition game. I don't know if this is confirmed, but I think the exhibition opener is like July 9th, something like that. Is that right? Somewhere in there. Not confirmed. You probably won't see a big influx of North Texas players coming with him. They play 8. Only 2 of them have eligibility remaining. So not a ton of guys on that roster that will come with you as you look to what it will probably be a complete rebuild again.
Brad, I looked at that too. It looks like their best player was at point guard, and he's done.
So the 2 guys that have eligibility, they're both 6'9", Bremen Lorient and Grant Newell. We'll have time if those guys happen to follow, or as we get portal additions, we'll break that down. But just a couple of possibilities based on this year's roster. One other thing, this is not that can conclude the Conley CPA spreads on stats.
Thank you, Conley, for what you've done.
Yes.
One thing, you mentioned, Hop, that he's going to continue to coach his team, which is a little bit non-traditional, that you make this announcement. But, we see that in the NFL a lot, right? You're going to coach in the Super Bowl, but you've just been named the head coach over here. You're in the playoffs the way they do their thing. We've seen it in college football. We see guys all the time coach in bowl games, and then they're headed to the next place. You haven't seen it a whole lot in college basketball, but guess what? You're going to start seeing more in college basketball. That theory right there.
Well, because in the old days, that is 2 years ago, in the old days, lots of times these changes wouldn't happen until they would finish playing, till the season was over. But this had gotten to the point, and may still happen with Maryland's coach, right? That they may wait. But this had gotten to the point where it was so that Hodge would have had to have spent the next 5 days minimum dodging the question.
Or giving weird, awkward answers. Right? So just address it.
Just address it, and I think that's really smart. Move on. I mean, that's the way to deal with it.
For both groups. For West Virginia, it's necessary because he's going to need to build his staff and work in the portal, which is happening. But I think for his North Texas guys, too.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about distractions. Distractions are when you have to keep dodging.
Yes.
This is just, I'm going to be West Virginia's next coach. You know what I'm doing now over the next few days as well? I can do both. Is going to get our guys ready to play. North Texas guys know exactly where everybody stands. They knew what was happening as well. So you just address it, move on, and here we go.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is you don't know who he's going to bring in as his player personnel person or his general manager, but rest assured that it's already underway. Conversations are being had, discussions are being had. They know who's in the portal. That's happening right now, and that's huge.
By the way, record-breaking numbers in the portal, which is no surprise. That happens every year, but record-breaking numbers of players.
And, Tony, you don't have a situation where a player says, gosh, Coach Caridi recruited me. I've been here 3 years. Now he's leaving. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore because the players are looking to move. They're in the portal. So it feels there's just a different environment now for all of that.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. You know what? The weekend is almost here. If you're looking for the perfect way this summer to enjoy the water, for spring for that matter, Lou Wendell Marine Sales has you covered with the Avalon pontoon boats, manufactured 100% right here in the United States. In fact, in the state of Michigan. These are not just your normal pontoons, Hoppy. I mean,
they're not.
There's different levels of pontoons.
This is high-level pontoon?
Well, these are high-performance pontoons, which gives you a smooth ride, spacious seating, top-tier durability, perfect for fishing, cruising, entertainment, family, friends. Built with precision and style. They've been doing it since the 1970s up there at Avalon. So check it out at LouWendellMarineSales.com. That's LouWendellMarineSales.com. And keep this in mind. They are, for their 40th anniversary, celebrating by giving away absolutely $0 on your side, absolutely free, a Honda 40 horsepower motor. So all you have to do is go to the website, LouWendellMarineSales.com, LouWendellMarineSales.com, and sign up. And as they say, you'll be in business. That'd be kind of neat if you win yourself one of those.
Did you see who Penn hired?
Sure did. Fran McCaffrey. Yes, indeed. Three Guys Before the Game. I told you this, also brought to us by Gomart. Got to get the app. We talked about it on the last show. Like, easiest way in the world to save 20 cents off a gallon of gas. Just flip that bad boy app. Get the app on your phone. Open that bad boy up. They got all these savings that just come sticking at you. Right now, if you just go there and play Domino Dreams, which is a video game off the app. One-time use, new players only. Get 20 cents off a gallon just for playing it. Hoppy's on fixed income.
Yeah.
Now.
And gas is $2.99 a gallon, I noticed.
Okay, well, take 20 off. Take 20 off, $2.79.
That'd be good.
Take 20 off. So check that out, plus all their specials.
Just paid more than that the other day.
200 bonus points for gushers. I told some guy attacked me here because of Donettes. He says that's just donuts. That's not the way I spell donuts. Donettes looks like to me. Donettes.
See, I would have gone donuts. Donuts.
Donuts.
Don't.
Just like
they're chocolate things. Plus,
by the way, I have mine up now just to sit 2 for $4.50 for those.
For what?
Yeah.
Those little donuts, those little Hostess chocolate, and they also have those white powdered.
Oh, those are
good too.
Now look at on your
you got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful with the clothes. The chocolate ones, just as long as you have a napkin for your fingers, sometimes get a little residue there, but you won't drip on your shirt. You know what I do with those? Those are one biters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
100%.
Oh, yeah, you
What?
just take the whole thing in there.
100%.
That's what
You don't bite it in half. Just take the whole thing.
You ever see the skit on SNL? That's what John Belushi was. He was running track and he was training on little chocolate donuts.
Cheetos will also give you a heavy residue on your fingers.
Heavy residue.
Heavy. You got a lot of that.
But I tell you what they've done. They've embraced that.
The residue?
Yeah, they've embraced that. That's kind of part of it.
Also at Go-Mart right now.
Did you say Gushers are on sale?
Yeah. Get
What
bonus
are
points.
Gushers?
Yeah, it was just my daughter and her friends the other day. A couple of her friends were housing those Gushers. They loved them. Said they're
200
excellent.
bonus points if you get those. Plus,
Yeah.
Gatorade, 28 ounce Gatorades,
Yeah.
2 of them for $5 American.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so check it out. Just download the Go-Mart app and you save. All right, good deal. We got some gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Got some gifts here from some fine listeners. Hey, 4 guys, Tony, Brad, Hoppy, and Homeless Dave. A very belated thank you for taking the time to be part of a wonderful evening at the wine bar dinner in February. On behalf of Meg, Drew, Mike, we really appreciate you guys being part of a truly memorable evening. Not only was the food and wine unbelievable, but so was the conversation and fellowship, and for all such a great cause. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing you in the future. That's Brett and Angie. Those guys are tremendous. Hope you enjoy Angie's pepperoni rolls. Remember, sticks are greater than slices when it comes to pepperoni rolls, at least in our family. And
Big
so
debate there.
before
Sticks or slices, yeah.
these got sticks in them, and I had one before we started just to make just
Quality control.
social proof. They are superb.
Yeah, they're really good.
You took one.
Superb.
A rare move by Kercheval went immediately into the snacks.
I had bad food management today, forgot my lunch, left it home, got into one of those.
Whoa. Wait a second.
What?
What do you mean you forgot your lunch?
I forgot my lunch.
You're retired.
Hold on.
You don't work here anymore. What are you doing?
What am I
your
doing
lunch
here then if I don't work here?
Why would you bring your lunch here? You're just supposed to come in, do the show, and leave.
Well, here's the thing.
You're still here?
He's a cold lunch guy, but you forget your cold lunch. You could have just gone to the hot lunch line. It would have been fine. I told you were cold lunch when you left the house. This morning you raised your hand for cold lunch. Then you realized you forgot it. And you had to go up and ask if you could switch over to hot lunch.
I'm taken aback
So
by
you
this.
got it. You got it with a pepperoni roll.
You're still bringing your lunch, but you don't work here anymore.
Well, hang on a second.
What?
Hold on a second. Well, first of all,
Is there something I don't know? I thought you retired.
He is right. Caridi's right.
I semi-retired. So I came in this morning. I did, what's that show? Talkline. I did Talkline from 10:06 to 10:20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was doing, believe it or not, show prep for this show. Doing a little bit of that along with the last night. And then I had this show, so I was going to be here during the lunch period.
This is beautiful.
During the lunch period, so I wanted to have lunch.
Well, and he forgot it, so he had lunch real quick. Now he's got recess coming up here in a minute.
Big dodgeball game coming up in the playground.
I'm going to get extra milk.
Hoppy, I did not realize you were still bringing your lunch.
What's this? I mean, it sounds like dorky, but I mean, you bring your lunch.
I still work here.
It's a good point. He got you on that one.
Touche, my friend.
Let's get out of this as quick as we can. Let's do this. Get out of Hoppy's crazy world.
Well, what am I doing here then? Am I a volunteer? Am I a senior aide? I mean, what am I?
Yeah. Management came to us and said, hey, just let him pretend he's still on the air. Just take care of him, promise. 3 guys before the game, Textual Healing, brought to us by episode800.com. Our coffee, our popcorn, our apparel is all available for you there. Yesterday at WVU was its day of giving.
Give it a round of applause, too.
Yes.
And we had Dr. Hannah Hazard on earlier this week. And of the 3 tiers that they had within the Cancer Institute, one of those was called Connection 304, which is kind of the brand that we created, and folks responded. And I want to show you a little graphic here. You folks that listen in gave over 100 gifts, and it helped raise over $10,000 to Connection 304,
Awesome.
Which is incredible. That means those dollars are going to be used for people that are dealing with cancer and also their family members whose lives have been upended. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts to everyone who donated to Connection 304. And from all accounts, overall, the big day of giving, the biggest number they ever had, over $45 million.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you to everybody that contributed to that fund. That's awesome.
All right, let's jump in. Textual Healing. 3 guys, it's really easy to blame the refs when things with the Mountaineers don't go right. It's a convenient exercise to find something to blame when one is unable to control the outcome. I will not do that. I will blame the North Carolina head coach for applying the Jordan rules on J.J. Quinterly, which ultimately resulted in 24% shooting from the field. West Virginia had a chance to stay ahead. In spite of it, with its 3-point shooting, didn't happen. Mountaineers went 2 for 21. The last make came when the game was already decided. Just like Mike Carey when they were in the tournament, it just adds to the list of painful outcomes for the women's team that they've had to endure to reach the Sweet 16. Moving forward, let's keep Mark Kellogg in Morgantown, hit some mammoth home runs in the portal, and host the damn thing at the Coliseum next year.
Tony, Brad, a couple things about that game. We watched it. You and I were texting. I thought that, congratulations to Mark Kellogg and the Mountaineers for a fantastic season, number 1. Number 2, still don't like playing on North Carolina's court. Number 3, I was whining about watch out for the officiating. They called a ton of fouls, but it was pretty even, ultimately. I think West Virginia maybe shot 17, 18 free throws. North Carolina shot 17 or 18. There were just a lot of fouls called, but it was not decisive in the game. The key factor was West Virginia did not make shots, shot very poorly. Quinterly had a tough game. And I thought the North Carolina defense was very good. That's a pretty good North Carolina team.
Yeah. Would have loved to have it on a neutral floor, but you know how that works.
It's not always about straight numbers either. Distribution and time in which you call them matters. But you're right. West Virginia just didn't shoot it well.
3 guys, John.
So always remember that, would you?
That
moving forward.
Understood. I just was pointing out, I'm
not talking about this game. I'm just talking about for future reference. It's not just about straight total foul numbers.
It's when they're
and who they're called upon matters significantly. Just a little FYI.
All right.
Tuck it away.
Okay.
John from Nashville, a little Sweet 16 trivia. The only team in the Sweet 16 whose starting 5 has been with the program from the beginning of their college careers, Purdue. The only school. Today's environment, student-athletes constantly switch schools. Purdue is the anomaly.
That's because they didn't tell people there about the portal.
Texter says, been a long 10 days. Finally a head coach for West Virginia. Social media has been ablaze with the hire of Ben McCullum, Nico Medved, Jared Calhoun. I even heard bring Bobby Knight back. They were never in play. Interview opportunities with Coach Knight never materialized. Morgantown chairs can rest easy. Ren Baker formerly worked with Ross Hodge. Found him to be 1, a man of character, 2, a man who has won a lot of games, and 3, a man who believes in stifling defense. After the no goodbye guy left to Indiana, West Virginia fans clamored for a winning coach with integrity and character. Ross Hodge is the guy. He accepted the job at West Virginia with a caveat that he'd continue to coach his North Texas team. That's loyalty. That's character, integrity. Suffocating defenses are a West Virginia trademark. Like the magical years of spot the ball under Rich, we all remember fondly press Virginia, blue collar in your grill. And like the assassin uses stealth precision to attack your weakness. I support Coach Hodge. Wish him good luck. Looking forward in the future. I look forward to Tony saying, great day to be a Mountaineer.
Tony, when coaches leave, like if it's DeVries or when Rich Rod left or wherever, I know it's awkward for everybody. It's awkward for the coach. It's awkward for the players, awkward for the fans. I do think, though, that I think it's unfortunate that Coach DeVries did not do a press conference. Rich, when he left for Michigan, didn't do the press conference here. When John Beilein left, and we were shocked by that too. When John Beilein left, I was at that press conference. He stood up there, took every question, did every interview, and I think that's just a good way to sort of clear the air before you leave.
I would agree. Ted from Colorado, I think you could make the case that WV basketball is at its lowest point in recent memory. There was the Huggins situation, a losing season under an interim coach, followed by a good hire, the NCAA snub, then coach leaves. Top that off with a bunch of good coaches off the board. The transition from Gail Catlett to Dan Dockich to John Beilein was interesting, but nothing like this.
I would disagree. Catlett to Dockage to Beeline, that was historic.
We all lived through that. That was a rough time.
Historic.
Asbestos year wasn't a lot of fun either.
No,
Didn't enjoy that.
That was not a good year. Not a good year. Texter, one thing I can't quite get past is that Darren never issued a statement to WV fans. Does that surprise you at all?
I just addressed that.
Very surprised. I mean, Don Plitzowite did the same thing. I just don't understand the rationale behind it. Don't understand the rationale behind it. You don't even have to do anything publicly. You can just send something. I mean, it doesn't have to be a face-to-face. Just send something out. Graphic. That's all.
Well, as a press person, I like somebody taking the questions, but they're not obligated to do, I guess, and that's fine. Whatever.
Sports has curses, not conspiracies. The Madden curse, the SI cover jinx, the curse of the Bambino, the Chicago Billy Goat curse. We now have the curse of the Neil Brown firing. A decent moral coach who was performing above the means of the university and NIL. This curse will affect the football and basketball programs. Players entering portal, getting out of commitment, coaches declining offers, leaving, getting screwed by the NCAA. The curse is more real than the Mothman. Maybe how we break the curse is to have a cup of Mountaineer coffee, followed by a Tudor's biscuit, followed by Mountaineer popcorn, washed down with Connection 304, all while listening to Charles Wesley Godwin. Need to do every full moon till curse is broken or till Mothman appears.
I'm not
a lot going on there.
I'm not a suspicious person. I'm not a cursed person. I believe for all things that happen, there's a logical explanation.
That's your big Occam's razor.
The simplest explanation is the most logical.
Doug in Bridgeport writes, I listened to the Zuliani interview on Sportsline this week. Great kid. Fun seeing him emerge this past football season from a good player at the beginning to a dominant one by the title game. By far his best football's ahead of him. Imagine the growth playing one sport instead of four with 40 pounds more of Mike Joseph's muscle on him. Great interview, too. You guys need to get him on Three Guys after his freshman football season, Doug in Bridgeport. So we had Carter Zuliani on. Got a chance to win 4 state championships.
Oh.
In 1 year.
1 year. Football, swimming, basketball, and track. He throws the discus. He might be able to
I've got a video here that came in after our show last night. Was sent a video.
Excuse me?
Of Carter and his teammates, 200 free relay at the state meet. Won a world championship, but here's what he didn't tell you. It was a state record.
Was it really?
Lined up, won a world championship with a state record.
He didn't speak real fondly of swimming when he was. It was funny, Hoppy. I said, he goes, I don't like swimming. I said, what? He said, never liked it.
But he's good at it.
You didn't quote him correctly.
Hated it.
I hate swimming, he said.
I hate swimming.
You know what?
I was told by somebody close to the situation, probably was his best sport. Had he stayed with it and loved it, elite level swimmer.
Who does that? This is unfair to the kid, young man. Who does that remind you of in Mountaineer history? History, going way back.
Someone that was really good at something that didn't like it?
In all sports, including
Chuck Howley?
Yes.
Yeah. Very close. I brought him up. I was talking to Bridgeport's coach there at football practice the other day. Same thing. That's what I brought up. I brought up Chuck Howley.
Yeah. I mean, we watched him in Charleston, and he's one of those guys that just, I bet if he went out, I don't know if he plays golf. I bet if he went out, he'd shoot like an 80, even if he doesn't play. I mean, one of those guys. Yeah. He's a really gifted athlete.
Hey, Three Guys, Professor Vinny here. Is it too soon or would it be deemed derogatory if we gave new coach Ross Hodge the nickname Boss Hog since he's a defensive coach? I think it might work.
Let's wait on that.
I think only people of a certain age would get that.
Yeah.
The character Boss Hog, which show that's from.
Yeah. Thad is in York, Pennsylvania.
By the way, Carter told us.
Yeah.
Dad, his family runs one of the all-time great brands in West Virginia history, Zool's.
Oh, Zool's, yeah.
See Zool's all over.
Yeah.
Carter thinks he could go and run a stand right now if he needed to.
Oh, really?
Not as efficient as his dad, Rob, of course.
Right.
But could walk right in. Yeah, been around it, been working it.
He's a confident young man. He could do it.
I don't think there's any question he could do it. You
You
grow up in that.
Chance to win.
So am I hearing correct? I mean, he was at the Coliseum this year.
Oh, yeah, he worked it. I talked to him.
Really?
Talked to him at the Coliseum.
At the games.
Yeah.
He was working in the concourse.
Yeah, works it.
Yeah, that's the way it should
Get
be.
in there a little mash a little bit of it.
Absolutely. That's the way it should be,
it.
man. You should work like that.
State tournament, he was diving on the court. 6'5" guy diving on the court.
He's a swimmer.
And a football player.
He's a dude. He's in that game. In one game, he had 15 rebounds and 2 tackles.
Tackle
and
for
broke
a
record in the 50 free.
Thad from York, Pennsylvania. I was at a cleaning conference in Baltimore on Wednesday. I'm sitting down at my first session. I'm looking around the room. I see 5 members of the WVU cleaning and maintenance department team sitting behind me, also learning about better ways to clean and maintain facilities.
Excellent.
Afterwards, I went and talked with them for a bit, and to no surprise, they were the most friendly people you'll ever meet. They all represented the state of West Virginia, WVU, with class and professionalism. Shouts out to Jeff and Mike that work for the WVU maintenance department, always a West Virginia connection. So Thad's in that business. Thad owns around-the-clock cleaning there in York, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
As you know, I almost worked in York, Pennsylvania.
Was that where the job was?
Mm-hmm.
And you called me desperate, like, I didn't get the job. Please take me. Please. We got off to a bit of a shaky start, but it got better.
No, it really hasn't. It's kind of stayed that way for over 40 years. 3 guys before the game, brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. One of their areas of expertise is the claim of Social Security disability benefits. That is something that you need assistance in dealing with. So if someone in your family has a Social Security disability claim, that's not something you want to do by yourself, because 88% of all people that file for those benefits the first time are rejected. So the best way to do this is to contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law, before you even begin the process. They will walk with you step for step, hand in hand. They know how to do this. They've got experts trained in this field, and your chance of success increases significantly. Doesn't cost you a penny unless they make you money. So contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law, not only here in West Virginia, but literally around the country. If something happens, significant injury that takes you away from being able to work, and you have a benefit claim, Social Security disability, contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law. A texter. I listened to Grant McCaslin talk about our new basketball coach, and I've read comments from other coaches about Ross Hodge. We're lucky to have this guy in West Virginia. He has integrity. This next one I got to read like jumping through lines because it's funny, but you can't say it all. You got to love Hoppy. The guy's retired, and he's out to pasture now. His gait's a few steps slower than it once was. His brain synapse is firing at about 60% of his peak. Mm-hmm. But Hoppy's still out there trying to keep a little skin in the game with his 3 guys' obvious observations. I admire his effort, but after the NCAA tournament snub, DeVries is one and done. BS. It's time to ditch the soft, obvious observations and adopt Coach Rod's hard edge mentality. It's time for Hoppy's hard edge observations. Instead of milquetoast observations we already knew, now Hoppy can use this segment to deliver smart-ass commentary on all things West Virginia related. Just think of the potential as Hoppy breaks bad on hated rivals, insufferable coaches, incompetent referees, and of course his arch nemesis, Pete Thamel. I'll give Hoppy a few hard-edge observations for his first episode. Bubba Cunningham is such a sleazeball that Bubba Watson just changed his name to Bobby. Pete Thamel couldn't carry my jock. After the Fridge retired at Maryland, he turned down a job as the Colorado Buffalo. After Mullet Head's last season at Oklahoma State, he should be demoted to a crew cut or wear a bag over his head. Pete Thamel would steal a scoop from his own mom, I'll tell you. You're always Tony Dorsett to me, punk. No, I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to skip that one. Anyway, just a few thoughts to help Hoppy out. So they basically want you to turn heel on your obvious observations.
The reason that my observations are obvious are that you guys, your knowledge of sport is much, much deeper than mine. So
I like it.
I give you what I got. I give you what I got.
I enjoy them. Steve from Las Vegas writes in, my sister had a great idea that would solve the NIL problem for West Virginia, possibly Marshall. Hoppy, why don't you work your magic with the legislature to pass a lottery where the proceeds go to West Virginia Marshall to fund the NIL? We've all been stuck at a Go-Mart in line behind someone purchasing scratch-offs. West Virginians love their scratch-offs. This would raise millions. Today's strange political climate can be passed in the legislature. Love the weekly insight into WVU athletics. Thank you. Well, there is a bill in there for 50-50 drawings at games. So you get to keep that. That could be tens and tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. That would be I didn't know that. What is it? I did not know that.
There's a bill for 50-50 drawings. So you go to Mountaineer football game and you buy 50-50 tickets and the thing gets up to $60,000. Well, university keeps half, puts it in a budget for that kind of stuff, and the other person takes the other half.
Shoot, take that.
Walking through the blue lot like Vince McMahon with 30 in their pocket. Is that how that would work, Brad?
Either that or going down
Something like that.
Going down after the game and just paying players, just giving a guy like, you had a great game. Here's $5,000. Great game.
Also a great idea.
Yeah.
50-50, got 10 here. Nice catch for the touchdown. You won it. Here's 10.
Here's 10. Hand it to you. You know what? Might be onto something there.
What's that?
That, just like game bonuses, man. Just
you don't wait a second. Well, huh?
What?
It's been going on forever. You don't think there's schools that pay kids for picks?
Well, yeah, I think what he's saying now is you can just take the duffel bag straight out of the stands and walk down holding it high in the air and just award it after, like all those turnover chain ridiculous things. Yeah. Now you just walk down on the field with a big duffel bag. You had a pick. Boom, here's $5,000. Who's up next? Who wants a pick? Boom, here's $5,000. You just scored a tie. Boom, here's $10,000 for that.
You know how you do it, right?
Just walk right down. Put a big thing on the video board.
Use one of those. You use a big check. You use a big cardboard check like at the golf tournaments, and it just says like, pay to the order of $5,000. The kid comes back to the bench after an interception. You walk down, and then the kid holds it up, and he holds it up on the screen, and it says, pay to the order of cornerback, $5,000 for the pick. And he just kind of raises
it's a great donor recognition opportunity. Whoever put the money can come down there, and you pose with the player and the big check. Football is perfect because basketball, you got action. You got to go back and play defense after you hit the shot. This is, you intercept it, you just come right off the field, you pose for your picture. That's out on social media instantly. There you go.
Or
because I think that's legal now.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Or let's say West Virginia's playing football and they win, and the guy's a big game, like a running back is 140 yards, and everybody stays, and you got a bunch of cash, and the guy's at the middle of the field, and you got the mic. All right, how much for how? Here's 500. Everybody goes more.
Auction the game performance off.
Yeah. Here's $2,000 more. Just give him money. Give him money.
Pat White would have to have walked off the field with a Brinks truck. Right?
Is there anything
Stevie
that says
got a couple bucks too?
But Pat, after the run to beat Louisville here, going toward the facilities building side, you think people would have stayed back, give him a couple of
grand? Especially that one, because the 400,000 people in attendance at that game would have been able to drop some money in there.
I'm going to be semi-serious. I
thought we were.
Well,
how much would?
Are. Okay. Can you not? I mean, is there anything that says you can't do it?
There's everything you can. Technically, yes, but there's ways to get out of it. In all quite seriousness, there's ways to get out of it. You could.
I love that.
Well, you just do what most schools do. When they come and say you committed a violation, you say, no, we didn't.
How much?
No, we didn't. Using an eligible player didn't. No, we didn't. You don't know.
The class was available to everybody. The fake class was available to everybody.
Just going to do what we do.
Okay, since we're
back to your office.
Since we're in the totally bizarre thing now, like, you know how like when you walk out of church and they do an extra offertory, right? Just listen to this. Let's just say
it's like you need to repave. There were too many, right? You need to
Eric Wicks, when he tackles Braum to end the Louisville game in overtime.
Yeah.
So when fans leave the stadium, what if the university had people at the gates and they said, this collection is for Eric Wicks's sack. and then at the end of the night, they give Eric $162,000, but people just gave $5 a pop.
That's so much better of an idea than your harebrained music ideas you used to give me. Like, that's so much more worthwhile right there.
Hey, you come over the PA at the end of the game, Bill Nevin comes on and goes, Mountaineer fans, at the conclusion of this evening's game, we are accepting special contributions to Eric Wicks for his sack.
Yeah, he is.
He used to call me. He'd watch a World Cup soccer game in July and think he saw something cool and call me with those things that you bang together, and he'd want to do those. No idea about the rules or the regular. No, that was actually pretty good right there. That was. Just a second offertory.
A second offering.
How funny would that be if they did go over the PA? Our special contribution this evening will be going to Mountaineer quarterback Nico Marchiol, who this afternoon threw 4 touchdown passes and ran for 111 yards. Please leave your offering on your way out. Thank you.
Well,
Drive
remember,
safe.
too, like churches now, technology is big, so you can just do it on your phone, too. So you just put a big graphic up on the video board. Text 35651 if you'd like to send your money in. We'll get that to Eric Wicks.
It's coming. It's coming.
Imagine, and so Brad,
QR code. Use a QR code off the scoreboard.
Brad, you're an outstanding athlete. We'd like you to come to West Virginia. Well, I got a lot of offers. They're going to pay me money. Brad, you score points. And you know what? When you have a big game, you know what we do? We take up contributions and hand you the cash after the game. Is that a little different from maybe than what you're talking about?
Well, we were at a school this year where they had a recruit right in the stands or a commit and just was basically a celebration. I mean, you're not too far off from that now.
On the road. Sure did.
I think get Ren Baker on the phone. We got an idea. In embryo, but it's an idea.
Hey, Ren, got an idea for you. Texter, home-raised lamb chops, oh, so tender. Look at this, rate your plate. So this guy raised raised this lamb. Asparagus seasoned, lemon pepper, bit of garlic. I call it simple yet effective meal, tasty and simple. There you go. That's a good meal.
It is. They raised it?
They raised the lamb.
Did you name it?
Nah, I don't know if you need to name it. Lammy. I think that's it. Austin, any other pictures that I didn't use? If there are, just throw them up there. I think we've kind of taken care of everything for the good. Oh, yeah, Charles Wesley was in concert.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah. Chuck's probably got to be a little bit settled now that the Mountaineers have a new coach.
He's good.
He was wondering what the heck was going on.
He's on board. I saw his tweet of support.
Yeah.
So that big check.
What was the name of this episode again?
This was Ross Hodge. Hello.
Do it right.
Ross Hodge. Hello! Hit the music.
Kind of an ode to the old days here. He used to do that a lot, right?
Back to the future.
Thought we'd turn it back the clock.
Well, we got a new coach.
Very good.
So,
okay, so let's practice on the fly. Stunner.
Okay.
That always goes well.
yeah.
So what do we got next week?
Next week. What about this week?
We're done. It's Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday.
As they say that
Retired guy days don't matter.
Retired guys do not
Days
know what
don't
day
matter.
it is.
Yeah.
But he did know he brought his lunch.
He did. Cold
Forgot
lunch
my
today.
lunch.
Cold lunch.
Cold
Forgot
lunch.
it. Went to the hot lunch thanks to our folks with the pepperoni rolls. Hot lunch. Got chocolate
Those
milk.
are good. Thanks for those pepperoni
Oh,
rolls.
could I get 2 chocolate milks today? Is that doable?
Well,
can I get 2?
It's another 10 cents.
3 guys before
What
the
time's
game.
recess?
Coming up.
Hoppy, don't forget your homework. 3 guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Gomart. Get a Gomart Rewards card and immediately begin saving on food and fuel. Go to gomart.com for details. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Sign up for that free opportunity to win a Honda 40 horsepower engine to celebrate their 40th anniversary.
And by the second offering Mountaineer plan.
By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers.
These are good.
Oh, they're delicious.
They're outstanding. Thank you, Brett and Angie. In all seriousness, as you know, I'm a self-proclaimed food snob, and those are superb. Not good, not great. They're superb.
Elite, yes.
Elite 5-star pepperoni rolls. Thank you very much. They're terrific. All right, thanks to Austin, our producer. We're back on Monday. Stuff will be changing in basketball, obviously. We'll learn a little bit more. Plus, we've got spring football. Believe it or not, next week is the last week for spring ball.
Really?
How crazy is that?
Hey, when can I go and watch?
About 2 weeks from now. Don't you think that'd be good?
Gold blue extravaganza coming up. Is that what it's called? Spring game show? What's it called? What?
Showcase. It's a showcase.
Showcase.
Yeah, it's a showcase coming up on April 5. All right, we're out. Thanks for being with us. 3 guys before the game. See you.